welcome. I'm Geeta Mohan and you're watching World Today. Now, the top story, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, who is in China, his first visit since the Galwan clashes in the year 2020, raised the Pahalgam terror attack at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Foreign Ministers meeting in Tianjin. Now, Jaishankar stressed the need for the group to take an uncompromising position on terrorism. The minister said Pahalgam terror attack was deliberately conducted to undermine the tourism economy of Jammu and Kashmir while sowing a religious divide. He also further reiterated the UN Security Council statement strongly condemning the attack and underlined the need to hold perpetrators, organizers, financiers and sponsors of this reprehensible act of terrorism accountable and bring them to justice. Now, our colleague Pranay Upadhyay joins me for more on this. Pranay, a very important statement. We were discussing Jaishankar's visit to China yesterday as well. No statement, no mention of terrorism during the bilateral with China, but certainly at the SCO platform.
Indeed, at the SCO platform, but as well as during the bilateral meeting, External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar did mention the issue of dealing the extremism, the terrorism, during his meeting with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi. And this meeting and this SCO summit, SCO foreign ministers meeting is happening at a time when India is at every forum, at every platform. India is raising this issue, especially post-op Sindoor. Geeta, you know that we have sent out the parliamentary delegation, and even at various level, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also mentioned the issue, the menace of terrorism, and how it should be dealt. So similarly, pursuing the same line, External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar also mentioned during his remark in the SCO foreign ministers meeting, and he did mention, as you rightly pointed out, that there should be a zero tolerance policy against terrorism, how the menace of terrorism should be handled. He also underlined a very important point here that for any regional cooperation organization, or for any regional organization to succeed, it is important to build trust, and to build trust, it is very important to have to have a joint policy in dealing problems like terrorism. And he did mention about the non-cooperation among the SCO states as far as the transit of trade goods are concerned. We have seen how Pakistan has blocked the transit of trade materials and the aid materials to Afghanistan. So he did highlight that issue as well.
Right. Pranay, also the larger picture over here. You were reporting, and you were first to report on when the defense ministers had met at the SCO. There was no consensus. India-Pakistan held SCO hostage to the rivalry on the issue of Balochistan by Pakistan and Pahalgam by India. It seems like there's no consensus at the table even during the foreign ministers meeting.
Yes, Geeta, there is no consensus in terms because there is no joint statement. But we have been told by the sources in government that it has been for a while that the SCO foreign ministers meeting has not come out with a statement for some meetings in the past. Might have given out issued the statement, but since last many years this has been a kind of a precedent. But in fact, as you and I were discussing, that any country who's a host of any bilateral or a regional cooperation organizations meeting would definitely try and have a consensus and come out with a joint statement. But here also, I believe that terrorism or the Pakistani tactics to evade the responsibility and accountability on the issue of terrorism might have played spoil sport, and that's why there could not be a consensus statement as far as the issue of terrorism is concerned, or the joint statement is concerned. But in fact, India did raise this issue, and India has also said this thing in unequivocal terms that this is a menace for the global peace, and this should be dealt with hard approach, and anything to deal with this menace, we need to have a zero tolerance policy. We need to have a joint policy, and all those who are responsible, those who are perpetrators of the terrorism, need to be held accountable at least. And this has been a UN resolution. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar did mention about the UN resolution, and it becomes an accountability. It becomes a responsibility of the member states as well. Pakistan, that is a member of SCO as well, and member of the United Nations, member of many regional organizations. But Pakistan has always always been evading. And this is also a kind of a statement from the Chinese soil, Geeta, that we have also shown a mirror to China and its policy, because Chinese have been blocking the designation of UN terrorists like Hafiz Saeed or Masood Azhar, Zakir Rahman Lakhvi. We have seen many instances.
Absolutely, Pranay. Joint statements aside, whether there's consensus or not over there, it does seem like with India and Pakistan in the room, any multilateral fora is now held hostage to the rivalry between the two countries. Pranay Upadhyay, thank you so much for joining us with the latest from China. Now, 5 years after the deadly Galwan clash, India and China may be inching toward a reset. In a high-stakes visit to China, External Affairs Minister Jaishankar met President Xi Jinping. More in this report.
It's been 5 tense years since the Galwan clash. And now External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar stepped onto Chinese soil and met President Xi Jinping, signaling a thaw in ties amid ongoing tensions. However, Jaishankar wasn't there to just exchange pleasantries. He brought the voice of Prime Minister Modi straight to Xi's doorstep, signaling India's readiness for a reset of bilateral ties. Before meeting Xi, Jaishankar had met Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, pushing hard on de-escalation at the volatile line of actual control. The message: peace is non-negotiable and so is respect. But the real fire was under the surface. India laid bare China's chokehold on rare earth exports, the crucial lifeline for India's booming EV revolution, and how stalled tunnel boring machines and blocked high-tech exports are threatening to stall India's futuristic bullet train dreams. Jaishankar's message was clear and sharp. Break down these trade barriers, lift the roadblocks, and let cooperation bloom for the sake of billions on both sides.
As neighboring nations and major economies in the world today, there are various facets and dimensions of our ties. Measures towards normalizing our people-to-people exchanges can certainly foster mutually beneficial cooperation. It is also essential in this context that restrictive trade measures and roadblocks are avoided. I hope to discuss these issues with you in further detail.
India's tough talk underlines the fact that it will no longer accept the dragon's attempts to cow down its neighbors. A stance recently exemplified by its public support to the Dalai Lama's succession announcement, as well as Arunachal Chief Minister's bold statement that India shares its borders with Tibet and not China. As Prime Minister Modi's visit to China looms this September, both sides appear to be cautiously navigating a path forward. Will it be a new dawn or another round of shadows? Only time will tell. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, President Trump is left with another 3 years, but social media is rife with rumors of who the next president will be. Vice President J.D. Vance took to social media Blue Sky with a post, and I quote, "I've got an exciting announcement about my political future. Hashtag Trump 2028. He posted a photo of him in a red Trump 2028 cap. Speculations are that the Ohio Republican is preparing himself for the position of the United States president once Donald Trump completes his second and final term. According to a new Emerson College polling survey, Vance is a potential Republican presidential candidate. Vance's tie-breaking vote in the Senate for Trump's big, beautiful bill has come under heavy backlash from the Democrats. Now, United States President Donald Trump has threatened to impose steep trading restrictions on Russia unless a peace deal with Ukraine is reached within 50 days, as he announced an agreement with NATO allies to send more weapons to Kyiv. The announcements marked a shift in U.S. foreign policy as Trump's endorsement of Ukraine comes just weeks after Washington announced it would pause weapons sales to Kyiv.
So based on that, we're going to be doing secondary tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. It's very simple. And they'll be at 100%.
US President Donald Trump has issued a stern warning to Russia, threatening sweeping secondary sanctions if Moscow fails to reach a peace agreement with Ukraine within 50 days. One of the proposed measures include a 100% tariff on all countries continuing to trade with Russia.
I'm disappointed in President Putin because I thought we would have had a deal 2 months ago, but it doesn't seem to get there. So based on that, we're going to be doing secondary tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. It's very simple. And they'll be at 100%. And that's the way it is. That can be more simple. It's just the way it is. I hope we don't have to do it. You're all dressed up?
Yes.
In a parallel move, Trump confirmed the United States has signed a new agreement with NATO to boost Ukraine's defenses, including the delivery of US-made Patriot missile systems.
Will these be Patriot missiles specifically, or Patriot batteries that you're planning? And
Everything.
when do you
everything. It's Patriots. It's all of them. It's a full complement with the batteries.
And when do you expect them to arrive in Ukraine, sir?
Well, we're going to have some come very soon, within days, actually.
The Patriot missile systems is a long-range, all-altitude, all-weather air defense system to counter tactical ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and advanced aircraft. This latest announcement follows a brief pause in US arms deliveries to Ukraine, a decision that was reversed by President Trump amid rising tensions between Russia and Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed gratitude for the renewed US support, calling Trump's measures a vital step towards defending Ukrainian lives.
Я вдячний президенту Трампу.
I'm grateful to President Trump for his readiness to help protect our people's lives. This war continues solely because of Russia, solely because of Putin's desire to prolong it, to drag it out. Russia is trying to make the war seem like the new normal.
Намагається зробити війну начебто новою нормою.
Meanwhile, the Kremlin said that President Trump's recent statements are serious and require analysis.
Заявление президента США весьма серьезное.
The statements by the US President are quite serious. Some elements appear to be personally addressed to President Putin. We certainly require time to analyze what was said in Washington. When and if President Putin deems it necessary, he will undoubtedly comment on that.
Обязательно прокомментирую.
Recently, President Trump has repeatedly criticized Russian President Vladimir Putin for ignoring US-led efforts to broker a ceasefire. With Neha Kumari, Bureau Report, India Today.
While Trump and Musk are still at war, a multi-million-dollar deal has been signed by the Pentagon to begin using Elon Musk's artificial intelligence chatbot, Grok. It is part of government's effort to use AI tools. The deal was announced by Musk's company, xAI, but it comes days after backlash against Grok for anti-Semitic posts, including praise for Adolf Hitler on X. The new deal will give US government departments access to Grok 4, the latest version of the chatbot. Pentagon said such contracts will be given to Anthropic, Google, and OpenAI as well. This deal with Musk's AI company comes amid fallout between Musk and Trump. Musk was appointed head of Doge after Trump came into power. The rift between Musk and President Trump widened when the Tesla CEO criticized Trump's domestic Big Beautiful Bill. After the bill was passed, Musk even announced the launch of his own political party, the America Party. Trump had even suggested that he might deport Musk. Former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert issued a scathing condemnation of the plan to construct a so-called humanitarian city in Gaza, warning that it would amount to nothing less than a concentration camp for Palestinians. Olmert's comments are in response to the plan outlined by Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz and backed by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to relocate approximately 600,000 Palestinians and eventually Gaza's entire population of over 2 million into a purpose-built zone on the ruins of Rafah. He said, and I quote, "It is a concentration camp. I'm sorry." He said that to Guardian and that the restrictions it would impose upon movement, Palestinians would only be allowed to leave for other countries, would transform the camp into a tool of forced displacement. He again added, and I quote, "If they will be deported into the new humanitarian city, then you can say that this is part of an ethnic cleansing." Olmert accused Israel of already having committed war crimes in both Gaza and West Bank and warned that the creation of such a camp would represent a significant escalation. While he did not describe the current military campaign as ethnic cleansing, he said that constructing a sealed-off city for Palestinians would change that assessment. Subway passengers in New York City were left stranded inside carriages after torrential rain caused floodwaters to gush onto platforms. Meanwhile, in New Jersey, Governor Phil Murphy declared a state of emergency as flash floods submerged cars and closed roads. Here's a report.
Intense rainfall caused severe flooding in New York, sending water gushing into a subway train platform. An eyewitness video showed floodwaters surging onto the platform of 28th Street station as passengers watched from inside a train car. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority said New York City subway service was experiencing severe delays due to stations flooding. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy declared a state of emergency due to flash flooding and heavy rainfall, advising people to stay indoors and avoid unnecessary travel. According to local media, a flash flood warning was in effect in New York City. A flood watch was also issued for much of the tri-state area and was in effect until at least midnight. Bureau Report, India Today.
President Donald Trump is not only on the center stage of global politics, but also gained prominence in Cantonese opera. Donned in blue suit and red tie, an almost Chinese look-alike of President Donald Trump spars with a man dressed like Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The Trump-themed show first debuted in 2019. Highlights of the show, staged in Hong Kong, included a heated exchange of Trump character with Zelensky. The 3.5-hour show starts with Ivanka Trump's dream. She dreams of her father's fictional twin brother living in China named Chuan Pu, a transliteration in Mandarin of the name Trump. Chuan comes to the United States, where Trump is campaigning for re-election. After Trump is abducted by aliens, Ivanka asks Chuan to pretend to be Trump to keep the nation together amid a trade war with China. Cantonese opera composer Edward Lee Kui-ming says he chose the President of the United States of America as his character because of his influence globally. Shubhanshu Shukla is back after a historic mission. The SpaceX Dragon capsule made a perfect splashdown off Florida, marking the end of a near-flawless journey. As Shucks begins his 7-day rehab, we decode what this means for India's space dreams. But first, a look back at his incredible journey.
History has just been written in the stars, and its ink is the spirit of India. In a moment that gripped 1 billion hearts, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, India's first astronaut aboard the International Space Station, took his first steps back on Earth. At exactly 3:01 p.m. Indian Standard Time, the SpaceX Dragon capsule pierced through Earth's atmosphere, blazing a fiery trail of glory before splashing down off the California coast near San Diego. As recovery teams raced to the capsule inside, Shukla and his multinational Axiom 4 crew emerged safe and smiling. Back in Lucknow, emotion overflowed. The Shuklas left overwhelmed with tears, prayers and pride. Shukla's family experienced a wave of pride, excitement and deep emotion as they waited and celebrated his return from space. The family closely followed every development, glued to live updates, offering prayers and preparing for his homecoming with both joy and reverence.
भगवान से मन ही मन प्रार्थना कर रहे थे कि सुरक्षित लैंडिंग हो जाए, सुरक्षित लैंडिंग हो। हम लोग के भी रोंगटे खड़े हो जिस वक्त हम रिपोर्ट कर रहे थे। आप ही बताइए कि कितनी बड़ी प्रेरणा शुभांशु बन गए हैं। प्रेरणा तो बन ही गए सबके, पूरे संसार के लिए, दुनिया के लिए, भारत के लिए, सबके लिए। डर था हल्का सा भी? नहीं, अब कोई डर नहीं है।
His father, Shambhu Dayal Shukla, spoke of overflowing pride.
ठीक ठाक रहा, सब बढ़िया रहा, बहुत अच्छा रहा। और लैंडिंग अच्छी तरह हो गई, ये बहुत खुशी की बात है हम लोगों के लिए और देशवासियों के लिए, सबकी जो है खुशी की बात है।
बेटे से मिलना है जल्दी? बस बेटे से मिलना है। कब तक उम्मीद है? अब ये 15 दिन कभी। क्या कहेंगे बेटे से, एक आखिरी सवाल? अब बेटे को गले लगाएंगे, उसको आशीर्वाद देंगे।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed it a milestone towards Gaganyaan, saying Shubhanshu has inspired a billion's dreams with his courage and pioneering spirit. And in New Delhi, the emotion was no less electric. Joining the celebrations was Union Minister of Science and Technology and Space, Dr. Jitendra Singh.
As I said, it's of course a moment of pride for the whole world, but special moment of glory for India, because one of Mother India's son, illustrious sons, is coming back, having performed a successful voyage and having also conducted the first of its kind experiments in the microgravity conditions in the space, which are going to have which have a great bearing on life, on human habitat, human existence, and which are going to be of benefit and utility not only to India but also for the rest of the world.
Now all eyes turn on August 17th as Shubhanshu may return to Delhi, a hero's welcome awaiting a man who has become a symbol of India's celestial rise. The stars are no longer out of reach because one of our own just came back from them. This is not just a return, it is a new beginning for Gaganyaan and for India's boundless space dream. Bureau Report, India Today.